Go ahead, verse 17. Go ahead and read.
These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth.
Now that's what those 4 beasts represent. That's God's interpretation. They represent 4 kings or 4 kingdoms. And I've named them for you. Now, skip down to verse 23 and let's deal with the last one. Go ahead and read.
Thus he said, the 4th beast shall be the 4th kingdom upon the earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms,
Go ahead.
and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces.
Go ahead and read.
And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall rise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings.
Now he's going to be diverse from the first because this is a religious man, whereas the other 10, they are secular rulers. Go ahead and read on.
And he shall speak great words against the Most High.
And he said he's going to speak great words against the Most High. We said that over in the 11th chapter of Daniel, didn't he? Go ahead and read on.
And shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
And he is going to wear out the saints of the Most High as well. Go ahead and read.
And think to change times and laws.
And he's going to think to change times and laws. Go ahead and read on.
And they shall be given into his hand until a time.
Wait a minute, they're going to be given into his hand for how long?
Until a time.
Go ahead and read on.
And times.
And time. Go ahead and read.
And the dividing of time.
And the dividing of time. Once again, what do we have here? 3½ years. That's all we're going to ever come up with. But let's go further anyway. Let's go now to Revelations chapter 13. And we'll begin reading at verse 1. So now this man's power, this man's reign was to last for 3½ years. When he started his reign, that began the tribulation, and then Jesus going to return and end his reign. So now the tribulation lasts 3½ years. So how long is his reign? 3½ years. Let's go now to Revelation chapter 13, and we'll begin reading at verse 1. 13 and 1. Get it? Go ahead and read.
And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea.
Wait a minute. He said, I stood up on the sand of the sea, and I saw what? A beast rise up out the sea. Notice the characteristics of this beast. Go ahead and read.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Well, he had 7 heads and 10 horns. He got the 7 heads because the lion had 1 head. Then the bear had 1 head, and the leopard, the book said, had 4, didn't it? Then that terrible beast, he had 1 head. That equal to how many? 7. He told you he had 10 horns, didn't he? So that's where he got the 7 heads and the 10 horns from. Go ahead and read on.
And upon his horns 10 crowns.
Go ahead.
And upon his heads the name of blasphemy.
Go ahead and read.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard.
Wait a minute. He said that beast was like unto a leopard. Go ahead and read.
And his feet were as the feet of a bear.
And his feet as the feet of a bear. Go ahead and read.
And his mouth as the mouth of a lion.
And the mouth as the mouth of a lion. This is the Roman Empire after it had consumed all of these beasts. After it had taken over the world ruling dynasty. Go ahead, continue. What verse out?
Middle of 2.
Go ahead and read.
And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
That's why I stuck Satan up here. Because where did he get his power, seat, and great? The man that is the head of this beast, what did it say? He was showing great signs and great wonders by who? By the power of Satan. So now, read that verse again.
Number 2, 13 and 2.
Go ahead.
And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear.
Go ahead.
And his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
He said, and the dragon gave him his power and his seat and his great authority. What verse are we?
Starting 3.
Go ahead and read.
And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death. And his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast.
Now this had to do with the fall, what is considered, I should say, the fall and the resurrection of the Roman Empire. Rome didn't fall, because everybody says, history even says, that it fell in 476 AD. But it did not, because it must be around at the coming of the Lord. Didn't we read that in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom? So it's got to be around at the coming of the Lord then, doesn't it? So now, but this dealing with what is called the fall and revival of the Roman Empire, because Rome got to be in power. He said, I saw one of his heads as it was wounded unto death, but the deadly wound was healed. That wound was inflicted in 476 AD. That's when everybody said the Roman Empire fell. But then Rome got to be in power at the coming of the Lord, so that deadly wound must be healed in order for Rome to be there at the coming of the Lord. What verse are we?
Starting 4.
Go ahead and read.
And they worshiped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshiped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth, speaking great things and blasphemies.
Go ahead.
And power was given unto him to continue 42 months.
Now, everybody can count 42 months, can't you? You understand? Because you look at me, oh, well, I don't know about that time, and a half a time. So that sounds like something you made up. Well, 42 months, I didn't make that up, did I?
No, sir.
What do you got? 3 1/2 years. You know, the Lord said things sometimes he uses parable and metaphors. You understand what I'm saying? Then you turn around and read somewhere else. He put it in plain language. Everybody can count 42 months. So now what do you have? Once again, 3 1/2 years. What verse are we?
Starting 6.
Go ahead and read.
And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven.
Go ahead.
And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations.
I told you his dominion reached far and wide. Power was given unto him over all kingdoms, and let's include this one then, doesn't it? All is absolute, isn't it? So now, we have it here, once again, 3 1/2 years. That is the length of the Great Tribulation. Now, let's go into the 12th chapter, and we'll begin reading at verse 1. Revelation chapter 12, and this time we'll pick it up at verse 1, because it was told that when you see this man stand in this holy place, then flee into the mountains, it said, didn't it? Let's start reading at Revelation chapter 12, and we're going to pick it up at verse 1. Revelation 12, and we'll begin reading at verse 1. 12 and 1. 12 and 1. Okay, go ahead and read.
And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet.
And it said this woman was clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet. Go ahead and read.
And upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she being with child cried, travailing in birth, and pain to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his head.
Wait a minute, he said it's a great red dragon. Who is the great red dragon? That is Satan, isn't it? And notice what it said here, having 7 heads and 10 horns, meaning that Satan was working through the Roman Empire at this time. Go ahead and read.
4. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven.
Now, well, we're going to skip 4 and 5 because that's dealing with something else. That's dealing with the birth, the death, the resurrection, and the ascension of Jesus back to the Father. That's what 4 and 5 is dealing with. That's dealing with something else. So let's just skip over that and skip down to verse 6. Go ahead and read.
And the woman fled into the wilderness.
Wait, and saying the woman fled into the wilderness, right?
Yes, sir.
The woman didn't raise on no rapture then. She fled into the wilderness. This woman is the church. That's who this woman is. And it said this woman fled into the wilderness. Go ahead and read on.
Where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days.
How long is 1,362 days? 3.5 years. So that meaning that the woman will be in the church, I should say, will be in the wilderness during the time of the Great Tribulation. That is why the Lord said flee, because that's where you want to be. And if you're there, you're all right. But if you're not there, you got a real problem. Let's skip down to verse 13. I'm telling you right now, you do not want to be in a time of trouble like there have never been before or shall